recorded live at 4ZZZ Studios, Meanjin, Brisbane.
On 102.1 FM.
And broadcast across Australia on the Community Radio Network.
You're listening to Zed Games.
Zed Games brings you the best in gaming news, reviews, community and culture. Want to reach out?
Share your hot take?
Or do you just want to share your favourite game?
Find us on socials at Zed Games AU.
Hello, you're listening to Zed Games. My name is Zara, and with me in the studio this episode is...
Natalia!
And...
Junebug!
Junebug?
Where did you come from?
My house.
Oh.
You scuttled your way over?
You actually scuttled like right under the door. It was quite impressive.
Yeah.
How are you doing today, Junebug?
I'm doing pretty good.
Junebug is a very, very special guest for tonight's episode because we will be talking about a game called
Isopod!
I worked on that one.
Yeah.
Yes, that's why you're here. No, it released on Tuesday, and it's... yeah.
I am in love with it. I'm hoping that by the end of tonight's episode, you will all be as in love with it as I am. But, oh my goodness, we've actually got... Before we get to all of that, how's everyone doing? Like, how are you all feeling? Good vibes? Good energy? You're not... Is this your first time on radio?
I believe so. I don't think I've been on the radio before.
And how does it feel?
Pretty normal, except there's a microphone in my face.
Yeah, I mean, I like to keep a casual vibe.
Mm-hmm.
The microphone, I think it kind of adds to it because you can sort of like pose with it.
Yes, to the audience, everyone sitting in the studio, they can see you be so cool.
On this famously audio-only platform.
Yeah.
You know what? I reckon let's pop into the week in gaming news, and then we will roll straight into everything else.
First pun of the night. News, not old. News.
This week in gaming news, platform and technology workers of Blizzard unite. Nearly 400 staff involved in the platform and tech department over at Blizzard have voted to unionize, joining nearly 3,000 unionized workers at Microsoft. 100 Hearthstone and Warcraft Rumble workers have also joined the Communications Workers of America, and Microsoft has recognized the union. Woo!
You love that.
I've been at Blizzard for nearly 20 years, and I've seen so many incredible colleagues in the industry come and go for preventable reasons. Our culture is our people, and we can't afford to lose that. We are forming a union to hold leadership accountable and to ensure that we can focus on building amazing experiences for the gaming community, said Principal Software Engineer Daniel Weltz.
Thank you.
Yes, a win. I love this.
Union win.
It's just about like, it's been tough, really tough, in the games industry on the high levels for a few years now. And this is just like, it's a way for people to be able to protect themselves, protect their livelihoods, be able to protect their families and their careers. And it makes me really happy to see like this kind of action and people for it to come together as a collective because, we are stronger together.
Yes.
Natalia, do you want to take this next story?
Yes. Remedy CEO steps down. So Terra Vitalia, I should have practiced that before.
I think it's Vitalia.
Terra Vitalia, CEO of Remedy Entertainment, has stepped down effective immediately, and that company co-founder Marcus Mackey will act as interim CEO. No reason was given for the change in management. Remedy is the studio behind Alan Wake, Alan Wake 2, FBC Firebreak, a bunch of like older awesome games. Yeah. And although in the studio's half-year financial report, it was, quote, unsatisfied with the launch phase consumer sales of FBC Firebreak. It's not... they don't say why it happened, but Remedy has never been a particularly profitable or cheap studio to maintain.
Yeah.
I think Alan Wake 2 took them way too long to break even, and they've always been relying on the support of Microsoft for Quantum Break, or Alan Wake for... Epic Games for Alan Wake 2 and stuff like that. And although they are incredible games and they are very important to have that kind of studio around, especially the fact that their first multiplayer game didn't go where they landed is probably...
It did not. I don't think it would have
Yeah.
helped.
No.
That's for sure. And it's not the end of the studio.
No.
No.
We'll see
Gosh, I hope.
how things pan out.
Control 2 on the way, right?
Yeah.
It's just like, there's a lot of AAA games and there's a lot of indies, but there's a lot of spaces appearing in between, and like having a larger studio that told stories, just like had a more narrative focus is
Such
really
a special studio.
yeah. There's nothing else quite like Remedy.
No.
You know? For better or for worse.
we wish them luck, officially.
Moving into news nibbles. So Pikmin 4 is getting a free update, which will introduce difficulty levels, so that makes it easier for casual players, but also includes like a super hardcore mode for experienced players, as well as Decor Pokemon, which features in the Pikmin Bloom app, and a camera mode. So you can like take photo, you can pose everything, you can take
Nice.
photos, and you get like a billion stickers that you can decorate the photos with. It's actually adorable. And Ice Pikmin also come into Pikmin Bloom as well. Massive strides in the Pikmin world, folks. Really massive. Natalia, do you want to take this
Yes.
next little story?
Sarah Bond, the Xbox president, has reassured that Microsoft is still committed to producing new gaming hardware and that next-gen technology is still in development, despite theories that Microsoft appears to be stepping away from hardware. This is really funny. We've spoken about Xbox enough on this show, but you know, even just looking at the ROG Ally X, whatever the Xbox One is called,
ROG Xbox Ally X.
It's
They
all,
love-
it's all letters to me.
Yeah.
it's almost as bad as the Wii U. But yeah, no,
worse.
like I think obviously Xbox still wants to remain in the hardware, but like it seems like they're probably going to outsource more stuff in the future rather than taking the hit themselves. So I wonder what that next gen's going to look like.
Yeah, and like there was like a price leak, which feels ridiculous at this stage of things. That was kind of like, oh, the next gen Xbox is going to be more expensive than the next gen PlayStation. It's kind of like, fellas, come on.
We're at least
What?
2 years away from anything.
Yeah,
We
chill.
shouldn't be thinking about it. That said, I think in that interview she did say like it was going to be a very premium product, very premium, very high end, end quote. So
I guess we'll see. We shall see where the cards fall. But moving on, we've got some upcoming games.
yes,
Today's kind of chockers.
today is chockers. Today is Double Dragon Revive for the PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X, all the Xbox things, and PC. We've got Farthest Frontier for the PC, Godbreakers for the PS5 and PC. Then we've got the Plants vs. Zombies Replanted, which is the remastered of the first game without any of the microtransaction stuff. That's coming to PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, and PC. Power Wash Simulator 2, that is a big one.
Huge.
I think it's one of the best-selling indie games of all time, the first
Wait,
one.
really?
Yeah, and so I think now you can do it co-op.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I need to clean my driveway, but not in real life.
Not in real life.
That's
In
coming
this
to
heat?
that's coming to PS5, Xbox, and Switch and PC. Then we've got the Crazy Hyper Dungeon Chronicles for PC, the Lonesome Guild for PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. And then we've got the Tormented Souls 2 for PS5, Xbox Series X, S, and PC. And lastly, I also want to shout out a game that I found while I was in Melbourne called The Call of the Golden Valley. It's a narrative Australian game. It looks very good. The soundtrack gives me goosebumps. It's coming out today as well on Steam, I believe, at least. Go check it out. It's very good. Do you want to take the last couple ones?
Yeah, coming
Junebug,
up.
what's coming out tomorrow?
Coming up tomorrow, we've got another Katamari game coming out. Once Upon a Katamari, coming to PS5, Xbox Series, Switch, and PC. I'm not sure if that's original Switch or Switch 2. On October 27th, we've got Motion Rec, or REC, coming to PC. October 28th sees, it's a bit far away from me right now, is that Aya? A Prologue coming to PC, as well as Outbreak Island coming to PC. And on October 29th, we've got The Outer Worlds 2 coming to PS5, Xbox Series, and PC, which I was sure that game was already out.
I kind of thought so as well, but no, apparently.
Not.
But I don't know. Maybe I'm just not with it.
I'm just not paying that much attention.
That's all right. That's all this week in Gaming News. You just survived your first Zed Games news segment. How does that feel?
Good.
This feels like an interview.
Yeah, I don't know. It went well, I think.
You tell us, audience. Text in it.
Yeah, send us a text.
Send us a text.
And you know what? Tell us what your favorite bug is, because that is extremely relevant.
You're listening to Zed Games at 4ZZZ.
You're listening to Zed Games on 4ZZZ.
Oi mate, you're listening to Zed Games at 4ZZZ.
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 Got a bit carried away.
You're listening to Zed Games. My name is Zara, and with me in the studio this episode is Natalia and Junebug.
Yippee!
And we are here to celebrate and talk about the game Isopod, which released on the 21st.
Mm-hmm.
It was the 21st. It is the 23rd right now. And it's sort of infested my brain in the best way possible. So without further ado, let's just get straight into it. It's Isopod.
Call me Isopod, the way I be rolling. I be bouncing on that rock and
rolling.
zoom in. Okay, I think 3D platformers get a bad rap in the same vein as animated films do. They're considered to be for children and thus lesser. They're wrong for multiple reasons, of course. They're not just for kids. But even if they were, a good kid's story can and should be worthwhile for adults as well. This impulse to sand down and bubble wrap the stories and playgrounds that kids are allowed to interact with creates worlds that are vacuous to explore and have nothing to say, completely dismissing the fact that kids are intelligent and deserve for the media they consume to treat them with respect. Isopod's greatest feat, in my opinion, is that it does what good children's entertainment should do. It does not treat the player like a fool that needs protecting. It doesn't pull its punches in its themes or its topics, and it's not afraid to challenge your ability as a player either. Instead, it creates a safe environment for you to stretch your wings, or in this case, your exoskeleton. It's mechanically approachable, its physics-driven sandbox makes failure fun in itself, and more than anything, it reminds you constantly that you are not alone, that you are loved, and that no matter what happens, you showing up to fight for what is the right thing to do means that you've already won. I love this game. Do you want to, Zara, take a little bit about the story?
Yeah. So Isopod does tell you that it's going to deliver a little Isopod rolling and smashing his way to victory. And it 100% delivers this in a way that is fun and engaging for kids and adults. I was expecting for the FAC, the Fire and Conglomerate, to be the big bad evil corporation, but I was not quite prepared for its depiction and commentary on how in a capitalist society, those who are of the working class, the environment itself, and communities are often trodden on and disregarded, preferably out of sight. The game is extremely blatant about this in a way that is refreshing and with a good sense of humour. Right off the bat, the FAC present a deal that promises to let the Isopod unit survive, in holes, getting garbage dumped on them. And the alternative is just annihilation. Not much of a deal, but that's business. It's not personal. It's just business is a common refrain, and this story is one that many of us are familiar with already. And for that evil corporation to also be fire ants, an invasive and very persistent species that's extremely damaging, I think it's a pretty clever depiction. And it is a mighty foe. It's too big for Winston or the Isopod unit to handle, but the bush is a big place and full of allies like the Bull Ant Co-op. Each collective is different and have their own ways of operating, with the union behaving like a union and the co-op behaving like a co-op. If Bug's Life helps you understand the power of collective action, Isopod will teach your child the same, as well as remind your inner child. The parallels are clear, and it's really fun about it. And the game gives you an excuse to just play Tony Hawk's Pro Skater as well, which is always appreciated.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess that brings us to gameplay. Like, how does this game actually play? It's a 3D platformer with some collectathon elements and some mild combat. It's an action-adventure about building and maintaining momentum. Within seconds of starting the game, you're already tumbling down a canyon in roly-poly form, jumping off ledges at ridiculous speeds, and mashing through walls of debris like Sonic to gain even more speed. When I say this is one of the best feeling platformers I've played in a long time, like, 3D Sonic wishes you could feel this good. I think the key here, everything this game is doing it to build that sense of speed. The key, I think, is that it's built on a phenomenal physics engine that drives, like, when you go fast enough and you're falling, you feel every bounce and every kind of thing beneath you. I just slapped the table. It makes you feel it. When you go fast enough, you skim across the water in like the mangrove sections. It just feels really, really fun, and it makes again, hitting a wall and bouncing off at the wrong angle and going up into the sky and landing in the spikes, a fun experience. Failure is fun because it just feels good to move around. There's also its marquee mechanic that kind of exemplifies this. It's a magnetic harness that allows you to pseudo grapple hook onto nails, pipes, and most importantly, it helps you dismantle the ant conglomerate's killer mechs. It's super kinetic and it feels like almost unstable through its sound design. The whirling of the magnet is so crunchy and stuff. It feels awesome. Everything is super tactile.
It reminds me, the movement of that grappling mechanic reminds me of like when people are doing sick tricks with yo-yos and like they're just like flinging that thing all over the place, but they're in control of it. I'm not necessarily always in control of it, but like it feels great.
That's what actually something that really stood out to me is how well balanced the game feels to play at different like skill levels. So I played this with my youngest brother. I was playing it by myself, and then he saw that I was playing Isopod, like quote unquote Super Mario Odyssey, but with an Isopod, and he basically begged me to play it with him, and he was really enjoying it, even if he was stumbling a little bit. Once he got the rhythm of it, like he was making it his way through the levels. When I played it, I was actually starting to zoom past and I was building speed and I was getting the hang of it, and I felt like I was doing really good time. And then I watched Junebug play it at Parallels with a little trackball, like not even the normal control scheme, and completely ripping it. I think it has a really, really, really expressive movement capabilities while also being super accessible. It makes you feel like you break the game in the way that speedrunning does, while making it very accessible for children. I don't know. What else? Oh yes, the sound design, I touched on it before, but the pitter-patter under your pillbug's feet, the wind so rushing past you as you soar through the sky, the whirling of the magnet, it all sells that impression of speed, and man, what a world it is as well to be exploring on. It's so rich, and like there's quite a lot of little characters that will pop up, and they're all very distinct. There is this like Weevil character that I'm obsessed with. He's got the wettest, saddest eyes, and I really feel for that guy. I really do. But you also get like the NPC that gives you like cosmetics, so you can like change your start. Yeah, Optico. Who's what a hoot of a character. Oh yeah, like he wears different masks, so he's kind of like a Shakespearean, like I don't know, like talking in a monologue externally. I think the world as well, something I loved about it is that it's very whimsy. But while a game like this in this genre would normally take place in like a North American forest or a vaguely European fantasy forest, you're going through mangroves here. You see the reddish dirt of like Australia, and I don't know, it's really endearing to see.
It's just like oh yeah, this is mangroves, and then I realized that like the spiked plants we were flinging over is bougainvilleas, and I was like, this is all recognizable. I know these guys, it is absolutely lovely. And can we just talk about Winston for a second?
Yeah.
Because I've got a little love
the Winston sting.
That is the ideal hero. That is peak Isopod performance. What a character. What an icon.
Actually, on that note, I think something the game does very well is capturing that sense of like small scale made big.
Yeah.
Kind of in like a Pikmin way or like an Arrietty kind of way. But specifically, I think the thing that is going to stick with me the most about this game are the boss fights. Specifically, in the middle of the game, there is a massive. You fight a harvester with like a big metallic claw that just kind of like comes down and rips through the ground in front of you.
The solution for it, like once you do figure it out, it's just kind of like, oh, of course, it's so perfect.
It's so perfect. And like, you're trying to basically like destroy its claw while it's like gnawing at you, and then it turns on the suction cup and everything around you falls into it, and the physics sends it go flying into the sky, and then you're like holding on to your dear life with the magnet against like the ground, and it's like inches away from you.
Yeah.
It's such a beautiful game. I think it really stuck with me. And I think I'm going to be thinking about it for a long time.
I'm thinking about it right now. Like, of course, in the middle of the episode about Isopod, but also like it is just fun. It's generally just really fun to play.
Yeah.
The story, it doesn't baby you, but it's very friendly. The story as well, it's very encouraging. It's just, here at 4ZZZ, we're all about community. And when we all band together, we are stronger together.
Woo.
And that's always important to remember.
You can go get Isopod now. It's on sale for the launch of the game, I believe. I lost
20% off for a little bit.
Yes, go play it.
Get on that. Get on that. Get rolling.
Get rolling.
And that is the end of Isopod Review.
Yay!
Love bugs. Love bugs.
Love bugs. Love bugs.
They're all an important part of our ecosystem, except for fire ants. Anyway, please don't transport soil between states. Just a little PSA for everyone. While we reflect on just how beautiful Isopod is, and how much I appreciate our local ecosystem, what is everyone's favorite bug?
I didn't think about this hard enough. I'm going to say a moth.
A moth? Moths are pretty good. Moths are really good.
Not to be weird, but I like the moths that don't have mouths. And then I've been thinking about them a lot in an existential way.
There is something kind of like beautiful but tragic about them.
Yeah.
How about you? I know you probably have a few favorites.
I know a lot about bugs. I think a lot about them for maybe obvious reasons. But it's really hard to pick a favorite. Moths are good. Isopods are really cool. I think
really
a lot
cool.
about spiders, but I don't consider them bugs. I mean, look, isopods are crustaceans. But I'm always a big fan of a weevil.
Weevils are pretty good. Silly. They really are. They're just guys. You look at them and you're like, oh man, you got anxiety, don't you, bud? I quite like praying mantises. I also like rhino beetles. They're really cool. And I've always wanted to, if I was a little mouse character, I would ride one into battle. That's what I always imagined. But I'm not a little mouse character. I'm Zara. But we are about to be talking more about bugs because we're going to be interviewing Junebug about Isopod. So, without further ado, let's get into it.
Are we reviewing this?
What?
I can use the same sound.
That's true. Yo.
Alrighty. Junebug, why don't we start off with at the start? Who are you? Who do you represent? And what is Isopod?
I am Junebug, or June, or I also am called Noah. I work for Sbug Games, the creators of Isopod and Webbed. I worked on both of those games, primarily as a level designer, but I also did a bunch of other things because indie games never one job.
Many hats. Many hats.
What was the other question?
What is Isopod?
What is Isopod? Oh, Isopod is a 3D platformer about being a wrecking ball and fighting back against a capitalist invader that is a fire ant conglomerate. It's all about working together with other bugs from the local bush and pushing back against capitalists.
Yeah. So if you're just tuning in now, Natalia and I reviewed the game earlier. We both love it.
Yes, it was so good.
I think. So let's start with something a little crazy. Is there a particular aspect of the game that you're really proud of, whether it's like one of the levels or like designs or just like a mechanic that was kind of like, this is pretty cool?
I'm a big fan of the fact that we were able to create a seamless open world where you can continue traveling through without any loading screens.
Yeah.
We probably shouldn't have made it that way. It was quite a lot of effort to make it that way. And we probably will never make a game like that again, but being able to design a space that allowed that and then design a fast travel mechanic within that continued to obey that rule, I was just really proud of.
It was awesome. For listeners, the fast travel mechanic in question is a interconnected, multi-dimensional spider's den.
Like
yeah.
You
go down a trapdoor spider's tube.
Trapdoor spider.
Kind of like a Coraline tunnel into a space where
and can I just say, like, the texture deformation when you like move through that, very fun. It felt soft.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
It was awesome.
Not what I was expecting. I was like, okay, into the
cosmic web.
I didn't get eaten. Wow.
Yeah.
Which we love not getting eaten. I guess so. Your last game, Webbed, a bit different to Isopod.
Yeah, but I would also consider them very similar games.
Yeah,
because they're about little balls with grappling hooks.
That is true. That is true. And when it really comes down to it, isn't that everything?
Yeah.
It should be anyway.
Isn't about a little ball with a grappling
atoms
hook.
just like little protons and stuff that
we're all
just
made
flinging
up of
around
balls.
through this universe.
Protons, neutrons, and electrons.
Well, I was wondering actually, what was the leap from 2D to 3D like?
Oh, people keep asking me this question. It's really interesting because Webbed was my first 2D game I'd ever made. I just made 3D games before then. But the movement from 2D to 3D was surprisingly easy. Riley did procedural animation for both the character of Buddy from Webbed and Winston from Isopod, and he just managed to bang that out so quick both times. Like, he just snapped his fingers and it was there. Didn't seem to need any sort of run-up or practice to be able to instantly make iconic movement and characters.
Yeah.
Because, like, Isopod sort of started out as a bit like an experiment, like a little demo kind of thing.
So we were trying to learn Unreal for our next project, because like we were kind of done with Game Maker Studio 2, thinking we can't really, like, our next idea is likely to be limited by this engine. So like, let's learn Unreal 5. And so we're like, we'll make as a studio a game a week for about a month, and then we'll have an understanding of how to use the engine. And we kind of got stuck on the first game that we ever came up with. And 3.5 years later, we still have only made one game.
Well, it's a good game.
Yeah.
So, it's obviously changed a lot since, the first concept of like an Isopod rolling around. At what point did you decide this is going to be a game? This is going to be a whole story? This is going to be a whole character?
I think we decided it was going to be a game on day 7 of the week. When we were like, oh, people like this. When we decided more than that, it was about the first 6 months of coming up with ideas, maybe 7. But it wasn't really locked in place until we got Zalavier Nelson Jr., our writer, on board, where we like locked down, pivoted a few of our narrative direction ideas to something that's more manageable and more core to the idea we were really hoping for, which is where we locked in it being a very anti-capitalist message and very pro-union and community message. And I think I'm really glad that we locked in that. But from then, it kind of just was finishing the thing, which did take another 3 years. Yes.
But what a fantastic conclusion to those 3 years. We've been talking about this, Natalia and I. It's just because you've been playing with your little brother.
Yes.
And we've also been playing as like adults. And June, you yourself as well, literally the one of the creators of the game, very, very experienced with the gameplay. We all have very, very different skill levels and different approaches as well. Like the way that I play is different to the way that Hazel plays. I just can't help but like notice that like we can all play it. Not a particular skill level or play style really gets punished. Like, how did you sort of, I guess, hone in on that balance of like guiding the player in the direction that you want the player to go, while still being able to like give the player the flexibility to like go off in the wrong direction, get into all sorts of corners, and even sort of it feels like there's multiple pathways a lot of the time as well. Lots of different points of movement. There's like a lower, middle, higher ground kind of approach. It's very vertical. It's a very flexible game.
Yes.
What was it like just trying to get that balance, or trying to accommodate that with the level design?
That's a really interesting question that I think can be answered in two ways. The way that we balanced, or the way I approached balancing four different skill levels was that I have been spending a lot of time with our character controller. I'm very good at using it and can often build levels that allow higher skill ceiling, and then passing that level on to basically any of the other team members who have not spent the entire time constantly using the character controller, have a harder time with that, and then making sure that I can adjust it down to make sure they can still get through, and then they also, will be like, no, that's still too difficult, and so we can push that down further to still be easy enough to find that range in there. Because as a level designer, I am always going to make things more difficult because it feels easy for me. That's just how it happens. For the way that the world is more open and has multiple paths through it, that's two different things at play there. One, level design is a lot about decompression and compression, where you have spaces that allow you to explore and spaces that push you towards the next space. It's rooms and corridors. That happens a lot in the game. But I find that the whole game was built to be like a skate park, because you are a guy that rolls around. And so it needs to work like you're rolling around. And the open spaces, our rooms versus our corridors, are designed like skate parks, where there is multiple lines that you can take and paths that are intended and opportunities to change those paths, which I learned a lot about while I was making the skate park for Webbed, which was tricky to make a 2D skate park. But then being able to make a whole game of 3D skate parks was a lot of fun. And that's why that works.
I really did enjoy like the moments where like I came up on a slide or a ramp and like, oh, I know what you're aiming for. Let me just take a few steps back and phew. It's just so much fun. You just dive straight into it and see where the game takes you.
I loved the actual skate park in this game as well. I don't know if it actually helped, but I found that if you use the D-pad in the middle of the game, you make your character dance. So I'd love to like hit the ramp, go jump up in the air, and then do like a bunch of dancing as if I was doing like a flip or something, and then come down. Great stuff.
Dancing is a cool trick.
I had a question about community. Is obviously a really important part of this game. Unionizing and all that kind of stuff is, I don't know, thematically really important. And I did see when you went to the special mentions, you thanked Squiggly River.
Yes.
Can you tell me a bit about Squiggly River, and also how did community, I guess, overall help shape the game for you and for the studio?
Squiggly River Games Collective is a local hobbyist games community in Brisbane. We gather once a month to kind of talk about games and share what we've been working on in our own hobbyist projects. And I don't think Sbug Games would exist without Squiggly. Riley and I met before Webbed wasn't even a thing at Squiggly, sharing our own weird little games. And then that turned into making Webbed. And then from there, we also then, both our programmer Millie was a member of Squiggly before joining onto the team, as well as our 3D modeler Jazz was a member of Squiggly before we brought her onto the team. And so it's kind of like, not that we, cherry pick people from Squiggly, like it's just, this is our community, and
we all help and lift each other.
We couldn't do it without them. It keeps drive for making things and making art, and making things that are about community, because being in community is really important.
Yeah. It's really beautiful. I mean, it's the reason why I'm in 4ZZZ. It's the reason why I go to Squiggly as well. It's because it's a beautiful place.
I think that's also like one of the reasons that like I love the game so much. It resonates with people who have a sense of community, and it makes sense that like a community of people would be able to cultivate such a game. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Well done
Thank you.
to you and Sbug.
Congratulations.
.au is a marker of trust online. Any website or email using .au has a verified connection to Australia. It's how you know you're supporting local on a global internet. To find out more or to register a .au domain, head to auda.org.au. Proud sponsor of 4ZZZ.
This is Zed Games. My name is Zara, and with me in the studio this episode is Natalia and Junebug.
Yay!
And we've just been spending this whole episode hyping up Isopod.
Yeah.
Junebug, where can people check out Isopod?
If you look up Isopod on Steam, you'll probably find it, or if you Google Isopod game, that should take you there.
There we go. And we do recommend it. It is a lot of fun.
Also recommend just looking at isopods in general.
Like
just on images.
Google image search Isopods.
The rubber ducky ones?
Oh
my god, they're so cute.
Mm-hmm.
But without further ado, we shall be off. Everyone, take care. Good night. And
good night.
Bye.
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 Thanks for listening to Zed Games.
If you'd like to listen to more, you can find us on the Community Radio Plus app
Or find us on socials at ZED Games AU.
See you next time.